Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, Molly, to
Thank you.
our show.
Thank you, Coach Ida, for having me.
Yes, so this is our show really related to Menopause Whisper Talk Show, and where we are breaking the silence around the menopause, and we are doing this together. And today we have a very, very special guest on this show, and her name is Molly Bough. She has been a mortgage advisor for last 27 years, and part-time she works in real estate. So we are going to have a beautiful chit chat about the menopause experiences, and surely we are going to add some value in this talk show. So welcome again, Molly, on this show. And please go ahead, and we are starting this show. And I want to start with the question to you, like, were you aware of your perimenopause or post-menopause stage when you were going through it? Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Coach Gita. I appreciate being on the show. When I was growing up, this was a taboo subject. People did not want to talk about it. They didn't even want to use the word menopause. And to me, menopause was not that big a deal. When I saw an older lady going through it, she was having hot flashes. I was like, why didn't they talk about it? He mentioned it to me, but this was when I was in my 20s. And I thought to myself, well, I'm going to go through it soon. So I want to know about it and why nobody talks about it. To me, menopause, if you break it down, it's just a pause on men. You take a pause from men.
Okay.
So that's how I feel about it, because these are what happened to me. So between the ages of 30 and 40, I was emanating heat off my body and realized this was a premenopause symptom. And I looked it up when we were able to have the internet searches, and I realized that this is normal for people to have these so-called hot flashes where your body gets hot, you can't cool down. I don't sweat outwardly, I hold the body heat in. It comes off my feet, my hands, my head. So I was emanating heat. Like when I had a partner and we were lying together in bed, he was like, get off of me because you're so hot. And this is between 30 and 40. So I thought I was going through it early. I did not have the luxury of having children. So I thought maybe this is because I didn't have children. I was going through it at an early age. But it stopped at 40.
Okay.
And then at 50, I started doing this heat again. And I thought, oh, here we go. We're going through it now at 50. So between 50 and 55, I would say, I was doing the heat part of it again. And then I was also having 90-day back-to-back menstrual cycles. I mean, it was back to back to back to back to back for 2 years. Light at the beginning, heavy in the middle, light at the end, stop for 1 or 2 days, start again, light at the beginning, heavy in the middle, light at the end. That was concerning, again, because I did not have children. So I kept going to my gynecologist, and he took a biopsy. We did an ultrasound, found out I had some fibroids that were just a lot of people have them, they just burst on their own, but it was messing with my cycle. So then 2 years into it, we did a DNC. I almost passed out from the loss of blood because I was bleeding so heavily. And he brought me to, and I recovered, and then I had one more 90-day cycle, and then I was done.
Okay.
So I was done at about 55 years old, I think it was. No,
Okay.
sorry, I take that back. I went through between 45 and 50. It was 51 years old that I was done with my cycle.
Okay.
But the consequences of all that, I came back to Raleigh. I had gone to do some other jobs and stuff, and I came back to Raleigh at 50 years old, and I noticed a brain fog. I couldn't remember what I had done 2 minutes ago. And in the mortgage business, you have to remember things. My boss was so frustrated with me because I simply could not remember anything from the day before, an hour before, a minute before. And I started looking that up, and people described it as pregnancy brain. Well, not having children, I don't know that. But pregnancy brain is a real thing where you don't remember anything when you have children. I guess during pregnancy, you have brain fog then as well. So I'm thinking, oh, great, men get to remember everything, and we forget here and there, whatever. But then, men go through menopause too, because I see changes in my boss and his attitude and his short temper. So they go through things too. You just have to look for the signs and be aware. So in a relationship, you just kind of want to make sure that you're recognizing these things in others. And a few other symptoms I had with the hormone changes. I have what's called the belly apron, which is the fat around your belly that is hard to get rid of. Women have this little belly, this little pooch, and it's very hard to get rid of. I have food sensitivities. You have the lack of sex drive. You have the mental fog. You're still emanating heat. And I realized that I'm emanating heat and hot flashes from what my friend told me. And it's inflammatory foods that cause these hot flashes and things. So you have to stay away from, look up inflammatory foods online, stay away from those foods, because I notice when I eat sugar, potatoes, tomatoes, red meat, any inflammatory food, I have a hot flash. So that was the thing. And plus the weight gain, you have high blood pressure, and that's hereditary too. But simply your blood pressure will go up as the more weight you hold on your stomach and the fat on your liver. So I've been trying to investigate all these things of how I can reduce the fat on my liver, reduce the belly apron to come out of these hot flashes permanently. I've gotten most of my mental acuity back, but I still forget from time to time. That's just getting older. I'm tired more, so you have to take a lot more vitamin B, I've learned. Vitamin D, you have to get at least an hour of sunshine. I've had chiropractors and doctors both tell me get out for an hour a day. I've had people tell me put your hands in the dirt. So if you like to garden, that keeps you healthy. It's to put your hands in the dirt for an hour a day. That gets your vitamin D, but you're overly emotional. So just don't feel like you can't talk to somebody about it, because everybody goes through it. So the more, Gita, thank you so much for having these conversations, because it's going to bring awareness to everybody that they're not alone. And you just realize that men go through it too.
Yes,
So
that's a very good thing which you mentioned. And what I hear is like you very, very nicely, step by step, describe the symptoms which you went through. And looks like even you were aware of it, means you guessed it, like, okay, you're perimenopausal and then you're postmenopausal, but it was in your case very prominent, the body heat. Like even, and looks like it has started in your 30s only, between 30 to 40, you said, where you had this like a feedback from your partner, okay, like you're hot, so it's not just you're hot, you're anyway hot, but you were actually hot.
thank you. Thank you.
That's what you did say. And then the way you described those 2 years of continuous periods, which you had to take help of the doctor. And that was again something which again gave you a clue something is going on. And in your case, like as you said couple of times, when you were searching, it was coming with the pregnant women kind of a thing. But as you were not having kids or not were pregnant or something, you were little bit maybe thinking why it's happening to me or something. But at the same time, like as you said, like that brain fog thing, like literally that period of time where your boss also got irritated because I think you're working, and then you saw changes in him because you're working there maybe for longer time, and you were forgetting, means so much that you still remember that you were forgetting, and it was frustrating. Now it is anyway getting better, slowly getting better, but looks like it was almost more than 15 years or 20 years of journey.
About 20. Yeah,
Yeah,
about 20.
20 years. Yeah. So see, the thing is,
Yay,
usually,
me.
yes, you sail through it and you're there. So the thing is, like many times, what assumption is there? Like when you're in 30s, like you don't even think like it could be something like menopause. It could, like as in your case, it started around 30. It could be 35 also. It could be 45 also. Some women, they have periods till 55 also. It really depends on like when your mom's period stopped or when her menopause was there, or your own journey is there. So this was a big highlight that it's not like, okay, I'm not there yet kind of a situation. Like the body is going to give you some feedback, like the way your body did, and you did some actions. Okay, so that we can understand. So do you have like any of this, like any of the, you said like you had some emotional changes also, physical changes also, you mentioned like the your midsection, like your uh, tummy got like, you that weight is or that fat or this fatty liver, those all things also you mentioned. So I think those were the weight gain and the midsection raise, or all this is maybe the physical changes, and the emotional little bit you tell, or you can highlight, or you can give some example of like how this menopause maybe to you, or any specific example or something comes to your mind. Oh my God, this maybe happened because of menopause. Maybe it like an example of yours or your friends, like some kind of thing happened because unusual thing which like just happened maybe because of this emotional and the physical situation. So
Well, it didn't hit, sorry to interrupt.
no, no.
It did not hit me emotionally as much as I have some examples.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um, one of my best friends,
Mm-hmm.
she came to visit me for about a week. And at the end of the week, I wanted to never talk to her again. We have been friends since we were 15 years old. We've known each other. So over 30 years, now 45 years, almost 50 years. She's my oldest friend, but her she was so mean. She totally changed her personality. She was mean, she was angry, she just said things that you want to take back. She went home, and I kind of realized what was happening to her, because we're the same age, but she was going through it. I'm not the emotional one here, she was. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can see where people want to stab people, because she was ready to stab me, I think. And I was so afraid a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But she went to see her sister, and then she went home and went to the doctor and realized she was in the throes of menopause. She apologized to me several years later. We repaired our relationship, but I thought, oh my goodness, just our two personalities. I stayed nice, and she just went totally the opposite direction. Her hormones took her in a place that made her almost psychotic.
Oh my God. Okay.
Then I had another girlfriend
Mm-hmm.
who's 1 year younger than me, and I went down to visit her. One, she lives in a hot state, Florida, anyway, but she does outwardly sweat, and she was just sweating profusely. Took a fan with her everywhere we went, so I was a little bit embarrassed. But nowadays, people talk about menopause. They say the word; it's not taboo anymore. But we were sitting at a restaurant, and the air conditioner was on. I was kind of cold, and she's got her little fan out, waving her fan all the way through dinner. And I thought, how embarrassing is this? But I felt bad for her. I wasn't trying to be embarrassed by her. I was embarrassed for her because she had to do this in order to get her hot flashes under control. And I just wish there was a miracle pill she could have taken. But then I have another girlfriend who also got moody. She gets sick all the time. So I feel like that is kind of her going through it, because she's 10 years younger than me. Another girlfriend, alcohol is a big thing. During menopause, you cannot have alcohol, because the alcohol will exacerbate your hot flashes. That's one of those inflammatory foods. And people that like to drink every single day, you're going to have worse hot flashes than I did because of the alcohol. The sugar content in it, something, the tannins in it, whatever, alcohol, sugar, wheat, everybody says their gluten allergies, things like that. It might not be, it's just your hormones changing. Because I have certain food sensitivities now. I love peanut butter. I've noticed that I don't feel good after I eat peanut butter anymore. and it could be the oil in the peanut butter thing. So you have to look at the food you're eating, the time in your life, look it up online as much as you can, figure out what it is that you're going through. Like my mom had a hysterectomy after she had me. So she was on hormone patches, estrogen patches. And we found out later on when she hit menopause, she started having seizure disorder. And those menopause estrogen patches, we saw a little caveat at the bottom that could cause seizures. So you have to be aware of hormone replacement. You have to be aware, try to do things naturally, try to look it up, what you can do naturally. I'm not the be all end all. I don't know what it is naturally to take. I'm still, working out my hormone changes and what foods I can and cannot eat any longer. I noticed corn. I noticed potato chips after 6 o'clock at night. I've noticed esophageal changes. So it's not just hormones. It's not just one part of your body. It's like your whole body. And Gita, I know you know this. Your body's a temple. It's what you put in it, what you're going to get out of it. Women already have problems with their digestive systems and this and that. So I hate to tell you, ladies, but you're going to go through something. If you don't go through anything, good for you, but you're going to go through something. Just be aware of it and try to work within that in your life to get through it. Because, when you get through something, you come out better on the other side and you can help others by what you experience. So, Gita, this talk show is awesome. You're going to make more people aware. They're going to be able to help others and to go, hey, I'm not the only one out there going through this. We're going through it together, ladies, but you're going to come out the other side a better human being and you're going to love men again. There is a time where you take the paws off men and go back to loving men again.
You can maybe so but the thing what I like the way you said, like the examples which you gave, the examples where those are your besties and best friends, and maybe because you went through this, so at least you understood something is off and you were able to again patch up with your oldest girlfriend, because otherwise it would be like a just relation break. But then when it was menopause and you related, okay, this is not like permanent, this something happened with me also, so let me
This
just
is not her. This is
yeah, that
not
is
her.
not
It's
right,
the
it's like a
menopause talking.
yeah.
So
And
I
the
was
other
able to
example,
forgive her.
yes, and the other example also which you gave, like the friend in the, like she had so much of her hot flashes, so like she has to carry the fan, and so it should not means if you think of it, like you felt little bit embarrassed or sorry for her because she was going through it, but it was not like, okay, what you're doing, you did not like stop her, or did not feel like, okay, what is this crazy thing happening, because you actually had some kind of knowledge and experience and you were able to relate with it. So that is fantastic. And if I ask you, like, during this 20 plus years of your menopause journey, what was one biggest mistake which you think you did?
Um, Not changing my diet earlier,
Okay, so
keeping the
that
weight under control so I wouldn't
Mhm.
have as many hormonal changes, maybe.
Okay, but
I don't know
you
if that
were a
would have
little bit
helped.
aware of it. You said you were aware of it, you know a little bit about these foods and everything. Means it's not like you were not the person who were like completely just putting it off because you are a strong woman. Like, because when you are a strong woman, a superwoman who is handling the job at the job front, means doing working plus handling the home, the whole responsibility. So that time you get numb to your own emotions and you think, okay, it's a part of life, just push it off kind of a thing. But in your case, I felt little bit, you knew a little bit about it, but somehow, as you said, like the food control or the keeping the weight in control. Anything else you think? And why do you think, like maybe what was, why you did not do it, even you knew a little bit?
Um, just simply lazy. Uh, Sometimes I'm just lazy about my weight. I haven't been mad enough at it yet to do anything about it. I'm starting to get mad about it. um, I don't know what will make me do anything any differently than my own self control. which I'm working on. It's a constant journey for me with that. I don't feel like I'm obese in any way, according to the scale I am, but I don't feel like I look that way. So it's not important enough to do anything about, because I still feel like I look okay. I have a confident body image, self image, until the clothes come off.
Mhm.
I would not be confident in front of a man right now. So I think that's in the second half of my life. I want to get a man again. I'm not married, ladies. I'm not married right now. If you have anybody my age 60s, that's really nice. I want to search for that again. I want the companionship again, and I want to be in my best body for that. And my best body isn't skinny mini. I've never been skinny mini, but in nice shape without this little belly. The belly's got to go
Yeah.
for me to feel confident again with the man.
Okay. So the one biggest mistake you think is when your weight started increasing, you did not change your diet and you did not took control of that weight that time. So right now is a different thing, but that is one of the thing you think is the biggest mistake. And then suppose I ask you like if you want to advise to your younger you, the meaning is like anybody listening to this podcast, anybody listening to this show, like if you want to give some advice to your younger you, so what could be those points? And I know that you listed few of them while you were talking about the examples and the experiences with your girlfriends, your own experiences, like you told those, but if on this spot something comes to your mind from there or whatever you said, like what would be that advice to your younger self?
At 30 years old, I would recommend yoga and meditation.
Mhm.
Be patient with others. Love your friends that are going through it. If you went through it first, just be kind to others when they're going through it, because you're all going to get through it and you're still going to be friends after you go through it. So just be patient and kind.
Great. Okay. So your advice is like for your younger self is you would have started like yoga, meditation, being kind, being lovable, being like understanding your friends around that 30, 40 when you were around that age. Fantastic. See what happens like when we are sharing a real experience as somebody who is like can connect with you, connect with your experience. Maybe they are going through it. Okay, so on this platform, like, of course, we are encouraging women to come forward and just talk about your experiences so that, like, it can create some awareness and maybe solve somebody's problem also. Like the way you gave the advice, somebody is in 30s or 40s right now, they can just, they're listening to this talk and say, oh my God, okay, this is some real person talking about a real experience. Let me also add something in my schedule. Let me just, my weight is just increased. Let me like take control of it right now than just thinking that I'm just 35, I'm just 40, okay, I have a lot of time. And then around like you said like 60s, like you are been going through this journey. So I just want to say over here to all the listeners, if anybody wants to talk about menopause and you want to connect, you can just email on Coach Geeta 360, Coach Geeta, COACHGEETA 360 at gmail.com. Okay. And we'll try to connect because I don't know who is listening to this show. And I just want to ask Molly finally, like any ending words which you want to say.
The only tip I have, ladies, at 60, it is definitely harder to get the weight off. Start early. Start early.
That's great. That's great. So I'm at like a 52 and I'm also taking your advice. Okay. And it was so wonderful, Molly, connecting with you. And
Thank
actually,
you for inviting me.
yes,
Thank you
and
for
I
inviting me.
really appreciate the way you told your journey. Like literally, like you have been seeing it from that 30 till 60 now. And like you look awesome. And like as you gave a call to action to people, anybody in 60s, like, yes, Molly is open now. So
Available.
available. Okay.
Available for
That,
dates.
that is a fun thing. And say, yeah, it's nothing like, yes, why not? Okay. Yeah. And with that, we will be ending this show. And again, like, glad to have you on my show. And thank you so much for all the inputs which you gave. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Coach Keto.
See you. See you then. Bye-bye.